Concord beta has been announced for this, and this is the game that kind of made waves when it was kind of like Diversity the game, right? Where when you saw the character selection of this, they kind of put it. It's meant to be, if I recall, it's like a 5v5 shooter. Is this right? Like a 5v5, like kind of Overwatch style. But the character select screen of this was it had all sorts of like real interesting characters, like this really nice overweight like character, kind of ambiguous, with pronouns that's a he him. Oh
yeah,
I legit thought that was a girl.
You're a bigot.
Oh wow, okay, I thought that was a girl. But anyways, that's Daw. But that's like a great example of like kind of what you're looking at here, right? But the irony of all this is that they're going to monetize exclusively through cosmetics, right? In this game to make your characters look better. So you're going to start with a character that's very ambiguous here, and you're going to make this character Daw look cooler through cosmetics. Number one, do you think there will be a market for this game for $40? And then number two, do you think that, this game may actually do gangbusters because the characters are kind of ugly to start with. So buying cosmetics for the game may be the lifesaver to make this look awesome. I don't know, like just general thought. Extra Zero, let's start with you really quick.
So I put something in the private chat. There was a game that came out in the launch window of the PlayStation 5 that I played. It was originally supposed to be a launch release game, and it ended up coming out in February of 2021. It was called Destruction All-Stars. And it was a game that leaned heavily into diversity. And they didn't use pronouns at the time, but they had a non-binary character. They had an amputee character. They ticked all the boxes. And that game couldn't find an audience, and it went free to play real quick. In fact, right there, you can see it's included in your PlayStation Plus extra account if you have that.
You played this game?
I have. I thought the mechanics were pretty decent, but it just didn't. It never had a good enough player base to stick around. It was a cool concept because you could get in and out of vehicles and keep your character alive. It could have been decent, but Sony did very little to promote it, and people were just like, yeah, on the aesthetics, and they definitely put they had very unappealing character designs, and they put that ahead of everything else.
Okay. So and it ultimately failed. So you saying it was a
they didn't learn their lesson from this.
Right.
At the height of the PlayStation being scarce, you would think that this would have been a game that especially being a first party game and a lower price title. Because again, you gotta remember when PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X came out, that was when that was the advent of the $70 game. Mm-hmm. And so they launched this, I believe, at $40 as a budget title and an online game, and it really used the features of the DualSense controller with the haptic or the haptics and the feedback triggers, and they still couldn't find an audience or market this game. And I think Concord's the same. And again, to kind of cut to like what they're doing with the pre-orders for Concord, 5 keys for 1 pre-order.
Yeah, that's the other thing is they're definitely looking to boost it, and that's the other little bullet point to this headline is that if you were to buy this game, you essentially get 5 additional copies to share with your friends.
Yes, yeah,
sounds like desperation.
It's very desperate. I mean, I kind of think the best thing that they could do at this point, instead of making people pre-order, be like, look, guys, we stand by our product, we stand by the gameplay. We're going to make it a public beta so people can test the game off of its own merits and mechanics. And again, this game, Destruction All-Stars, had good mechanics in my opinion, but it just they made it very unappealing. I mean, I feel like we're kind of in the stage of gaming that we were in the 90s, where there were so many copycats of Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, and a lot of them had very unappealing character designs. And again, Mortal Kombat, the first Mortal Kombat, I don't think had the best mechanics, but you played that game and it had pizzazz. It had, the aesthetics of the game really sold it more than the gameplay. It was edgy, it was hip, it was cool.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, this is I've never heard of a game where when you buy it, you get free copies to give away. Like
Well, it's
that's
not
the
free
first step.
copies. It's just the pre-order. So if you pre-order the game, you get five keys total for the beta. That's how desperate they are to get people to try it out. I'm at this point. That's why I ask, like, if you're that desperate, just make it available to everybody on PlayStation to test.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That just seems so bizarre to me. So bizarre to me.
I think what they want is for the few people that are actually hyped for the game to go to their friends, be like, guys, I got 4 of these. You got to play with me, and that's why they're locking it behind pre-orders. That's what my speculation is.
Well, sure, but I mean,
So Straight Shot said there is going to be an open beta, and there's an open beta and a closed beta, but yeah, I haven't seen anything on that open beta.
Wow, well, that's crazy. That's if you're gonna have an open beta, then why offer a pre-order with additional keys to a open beta?
Exactly.